Good morning. My name is Jude Meyers, Superintendent of Gallia County Local Schools. I hope that all of our families and our staff find themselves safe in this crazy time, pandemic of the coronavirus. Who would have known that on March 1st of 2020 we would have to completely reinvent the way we do education. And I want to really thank all of the staff members in our district, from our central office to our principals, to our teachers, our bus drivers, custodians, cafeteria staff, secretaries, you name it. Everybody is stepping up to try and make sure that we're doing the two things the governor asked us to do at the beginning of this whole process. One, educate our kids, and two, find a way to feed our kids. I apologize for putting my glasses on, but I have some people I'd like to thank who have been making donations to the district in an effort to provide snack packs and meals for our kids throughout this really troubling times. And I'd like to read off who those people are. First, I want to thank all the anonymous donors and staff members that have donated to our snack packs and meals. Every day, new product arrives at our school, and without your help and support, we wouldn't be able to do the things we're doing. So on behalf of everyone here, from our Board of Education all the way down to our last employee, we want to thank you, those donors, for everything that you're doing. The following individuals who have donated to the school in some way, shape, or form, we're very grateful to you. God bless all of you for your donations. We're very grateful for what you've done, and our kids and families are very thankful. Julie Plybum, the GCLEA, the Gallia County Local Education Associations, made donations. They've also made donations in honor of Linda Deal. Our Vinton Lodge, Jeannie Plants, the Eastern Star, the Vinton chapter number 375, the Cheshire Baptist Church, also Melissa Piles Moore, the Springfield Baptist Church, Jeff and Marcia Smith, Brianne Willis, Toller and Toller Insurance, Marta Prose, the Friends of Gallia County Animals. We've even made donations of dog food and animal food to those families that would need it, and they're available at our buildings. Also, the Han and Trace PTO, the Southwestern PTO, Woodside Stage. In addition, Springfield Baptist Church, Dollar General Store in Bidwell, the First Baptist Church, the Attaville PTO. Also, CVS Pharmacy, Victory Baptist Church, Needle-Lift. Jacqueline Settlin and her family have been phenomenal. Thank you to the Settlin family. The River of Life United Methodist Church and the Vinton PTO. Also to our State Highway Patrolmen in Springfield Township Fire Department, who have helped with taking out the meals to our families. Thank you to this community for your outstanding contributions. You have been phenomenal, and without you, we couldn't do this by ourselves. Also, a special shout out to Dr. Denise Shockley at our ESC. She has helped to the tune of book packets for all of our K-5 elementary students. I know those kids will be excited when they receive their packet of booklets via the different elementary schools. And I've been told that we've got some surprises coming for our 6-12 students as well. So we'd like to start by thanking all of those people who have donated to the cause during these very trying times. The next thing I want to address is, what is the district doing to provide an education and food to their kids? On March 13, 2020, a few days before the governor mandated the shutdown of schools, our staff had already been in action and planning to try and provide work and information out to our students to try and be out in front of this whole situation. Of course, at that time, we didn't know how long we were going to be shut down. We didn't know how long it was going to last. We didn't know a lot about this coronavirus and the impact it might have on us. But we took a proactive approach, and on March 13th, we sent home packets of information to all of our students that were in the buildings that day, and continued on March 16th, which was a district in-service day, to provide additional information out to our students. So when the governor came out with his message, he mandated two things. One, make sure you're educating your kids. Two, make sure that you're feeding your kids. And I'm very proud of our district because we have been able to do that during that time. I know you have many important questions, and what we're going to try to do is attempt to answer those questions individually as we go out. I can tell you when it has come to work, we've pushed out initial information the week of April 20th to the 24th. Our delivery system, I know packets are available at the schools. We realize that many of our families don't have internet access. We know we even have families that may not have an automobile, a cell phone, or internet access. So we're trying to identify who those people are and personally make sure that they get information during these very trying times. We'll also be pushing out our last packet of information in early May, which will take us to the end of our school year, which ends May 22nd, 2020. The next item I'd like to address is a tough one. It's graduation, prom, all the social events that go on at the end of the school year, awards programs, different presentations. A lot of activities are planned with the end of a school year. Unfortunately, our mandate has been very clear from Columbus when it comes to these types of activities. As I go on through my broadcast, I'm going to talk about the district has had a lot of flexibility in being able to do certain things. So I want to start by doing a disclaimer and saying, please don't be upset at your principals, at your Board of Education, at your teachers, at your guidance counselors, advisors, etc. When we're talking about graduation, prom, and all these social events, this is a very strict mandate that has come from the state of Ohio. And simply put, all of those programs have to be done remotely. So I know our principals and our buildings are working on how can we do a graduation program that meets the needs of our kids, but we also know that we have to follow the mandate given by the state of Ohio, and that is to maintain social distance, no more gatherings of more than 10 people, and also that large social gatherings are strictly prohibited. So again, I want to emphasize that. We know that those activities are important. We are trying to find alternative ways to be able to do such of those events. The unfortunate thing with this whole situation is we don't know when it's going to be over. So we can't promise something that we don't have a timeline on to give a definite end to when this virus is going to be brought to a conclusion. So again, please don't hold those people that you know at the building level. Please don't be angry at them. We understand your frustration. But in this case, it's very clear from the state of Ohio that this is something you cannot do and that those things have been strictly prohibited. The next topic I'd like to address are grades. When this whole remote education plan started, the governor mandated that education needed to continue, and then he left that up to the districts as to how that would continue. Obviously in Gallia County we face numerous obstacles that a lot of counties don't face throughout the state of Ohio. We know that many of our families may not have internet access. We know that some people don't have phones or opportunities even with vehicles to be able to drive to hot spots. And we also know that in our county you can lose cell service very quickly, and sometimes up to 10 or 15 minutes at a time. So we knew that for us to educate our students that we were going to have to provide different opportunities for our kids. And I'm very proud of our staff and the way they've attempted to do that. What we asked our staff to do at the beginning of this outbreak, beginning on March 13th, is to create logs of recording all the communication between themselves and their parents and students. In other words, every teacher has been assigned to a student in the district, and that communication has been the most important piece that has kept us up to date on the needs of those families. So I want to emphasize the importance of teachers communicating with our parents, our parents and our families communicating with their teachers. That is the #1 way to get information back to the building principals and to the central office administration to make sure the needs of your families are met. I know on these phone calls and text messages, etc., emails that are going out, we're finding out if there's a need for food, if there's a need for hygiene items, if there's a need for additional work, and I want to applaud our staff for the communication attempts that they've made. I can estimate at this point that we've been able to communicate with over 95% of our families, which is really sensational considering the circumstances that we're going through right now. So what's that mean when the paper packets come out? To let you know, what the district decided to do is to push out paper packets to all of our elementary folks through grades 5. So pre-K through 5, we're to be receiving work through paper packets. That means that the teachers have worked hard to put information together. I know all the buildings have arranged for, elementaries have arranged for drop-offs and pickups. And the questions come up, what do I do with the work that my kid has completed? You should look for a place that is located at your school that you can drop off those packets and make sure they are clearly labeled with your student's name, the grade level of that student, and any information pertaining to that teacher. So again, when you're returning work, identify who the teacher is, who the student is, with that information so we can get those packets of information your son or daughter's completed to the teacher, and they can do the appropriate assessment of those materials. We knew we had to find a way to come up with a way to track attendance, and the way we're tracking the attendance is through these assignments and through these communication logs, because in order for us to not have to make up school this summer, we had to have a system in place, and that's why the system of accountability through communication and through these packages of work are very important in being able to track that information. We also know that those people that do have some internet access, we've used some of the different tools in the toolbox. In fact, our teachers have been very creative. Some are using online instruction, and in the same time they're turning around and doing text messaging and email and Infinite Campus and all the different things that are available to them. What I'm most proud of is they're trying to meet the needs of that individual family. I can even tell you that when we've not been able to reach families, what the teachers are doing is reporting that to the principal, and then the principals have been getting groups to go out and do home visits to make sure that those families are okay, kind of like wellness checks, and to see if they need anything. So what does the grading mean? When it comes to fourth quarter, the grades are going to be assessed on a pass-fail basis. If your son or daughter or student completes the work or attempts to complete the work at a minimum satisfaction, they will receive a pass for the class. If they do not attempt to do any work and do not do anything during this closure of schools in the brick and mortar, then they would receive a fail. A fail counts as a 59%, a pass counts as 100%. That means that that grade average for the fourth quarter will be averaged in with the third quarter grade to determine a semester grade. I do want to emphasize too at the high school level that if students are in a college credit course, college credit plus course, or an AP course, they need to follow the guidelines assigned by that course, and there will be a letter grade assigned to those things as mandated by the College Board and by AP. But again, all of our assignments are going to be based on a pass-fail. Now, we also understand that some people may not have the same opportunities as others. We will definitely take a look at that work after the fact. We're going to continue to reach out to our parents. But the only way we can track attendance and effort to make sure that school is going on is by taking those packets and checking them and grading them and making sure that there's been effort put into education during the time of this shutdown of our regular school buildings. The most important thing you can do for your students, do a lot to emphasize the reading component, especially at the elementary level. I would take time and read with your student every single day. And then the other thing, and many of you can relate to this, is effort. If you put forth the effort, that student is going to be successful. But again, we are going to a pass-fail, and that will be what we will put into place for the fourth quarter of the 2019 and 20 school year. And then as we prepare for next year, we'll actually have more information coming out at a later date. One point of emphasis that I would like to make is when it comes to grades. The district is going to send out interim grades basically by May 8th, 2020, and final grades will be assessed by May 22nd of 2020. We are going to be reaching out to those families and students who have not, basically that are falling into the fail range at that point. In other words, we've not received any information or communication back from those families, which we're going to continue to attempt to do. But we will be doing interim grades on May 8th, and we'll be doing final grades wrapping up around May 22nd. And for those families we've not been able to communicate with, we will continue to reach out until we do reach those families and make arrangements that every student in this district has the opportunity to complete their work. The question with grading has come up and how it applies to athletic eligibility in determining whether or not a student can participate in athletics, which would be hopefully in the fall of 2020. That eligibility will be determined strictly by our pass-fail basis. The student has to complete at least 5 credits at the high school level, and those credits have to be of a pass nature. So if that student completes that work and puts in the effort to get those 5 credits of passage, they will be eligible to participate in the fall of 2020, provided the OHSAA and the state have made accommodations to be able to go ahead and participate in those fall activities. But again, eligibility will be determined based on your pass-fail of those courses, and all athletes will be required to complete at least 5 credits in the fourth quarter of the 2019 and 20 school year. The questions of students that are on IEPs has arisen obviously in districts across the state of Ohio. And I think it's important to note that the federal government and state government have given us a little leniency when it comes to making those accommodations for those students. We realize in Gallia County, for example, the infrastructure that allows for internet and online instruction isn't equal for all kids. And therefore, there is some leniency when it comes to meeting the needs of our kids. We've asked our teachers who have students who are on IEPs or 504s to make sure they're reaching out to communicate with those students, to provide accommodations as best they can during these trying times. We understand that nothing beats that one-to-one instruction or working with that teacher in that resource room or working with that classroom instructor. We all know the value, I think we've all found out the value of the importance of education as we try to do it remotely right now during these difficult times. But when it comes to students that have challenging needs like IEPs and 504s, we are allowing our teachers to have some leniency. We're also reaching out to make sure that those IEPs we're trying to bring those up to date as best we can during these times, and that we will continue to work with those families and students well beyond this crisis to make sure the needs of your child is being met. So in conclusion, again, we want to reach out to our families, to our staff, to our students, and we emphasize we're trying to reach you in any way possible. We know these are difficult times. We also know how important it is for students to be in a classroom with our teachers. I want to thank our teachers and our staff, our bus drivers, all of our staff that have reached out to try and communicate with our students. They've done an exceptional job, and they've been using every tool that they can come up with, and I think in some cases even have tried to invent some new tools that they can use. You know, as we move forward, the question is, what will next year look like? And the answer is, we're not sure. And I'm sure that's not what you want to hear from your superintendent at this point, but we do believe we are going to be back to school. We're going to be doing face-to-face. And we're going to have students in our buildings. What that may look like, we don't know. Whether that will involve temperature checks when students arrive to school to make sure that everybody, just like the checks you're starting to see in society, masks may be worn, handbooks may be updated to reflect the COVID-19 virus. We're going to have to make accommodations in how we deliver school, and the governor calls it the new normal. But what I can assure you is that your educators in this district and your staff are working hard to redefine what school is going to look like, because we know that nothing beats your student being in our classroom receiving that direct instruction. So as we look to the future, we hope that things will get better. We know that a cure hopefully is right around the corner, but until that time, we've got to reinvent ourselves. Also want to reemphasize, please contact the school if you need to. In case that you're looking for meals, our meal program will continue through May 22nd, which is a Friday, and our snack packs will also continue. We've not made a determination on summer meals or summer snack packs. That's under review at this time. But again, we want to thank everybody, encourage you to be safe, practice those safe habits of social distancing. We're all frustrated with what we're dealing with today in our society, but we also know that we have to keep ourselves and our families safe. And I can assure you, on behalf of our district, we're doing everything we can to reach out to our families to make sure that we're trying to provide the best education that we can to your students. So on behalf of our school board, of our staff, of our principals, of our teachers, and all the employees of the Gallia County Local School District, we want to wish all of you health and success, and hopefully this crisis will be over where we can get back to normal, and God bless you all.